In a distant corner of southern Africa, a new dawn is breaking. Namaqualand is named for the ancient Nama people who have survived its extremes since the dawn of man. This place is not for the faint-hearted.
Here we have everything against us. Drought, severe droughts, 5 years without no rain. We have no electricity.
Her world-famous spring flowers aside, Namaqualand is a harsh mistress and remains the poorest part of South Africa. But in one of those wonderful twists that only nature can weave, she is also the perfect home for the Namakwa Merino.
And what people don't realize is it takes us 10 hectares for one sheep in Namaqualand. So the agricultural norm says 5.5, but in Namaqualand you know that you have to build in 4.5 hectares for drought. And I think that is what makes us pioneers.
This is one tough little sheep that in this brutal environment still produces some of the world's finest wool. Which is where Gerber & Co. comes in. We are a family business committed to reviving this region.
You know, at Gerber & Co., our payoff line is tough love. Our family has such a history of tough love. One of the stories my grandfather always said with his older brothers, he was 3 years old, and they basically at night they pitched their tent right next to the road, and in the evenings all the sheep will sleep around them, and in the mornings when it's frost they have to go out and graze with the sheep. But at night they had duties to saying every second hour somebody has to be on night beat. So he had to wake up in the middle of the night, walk around the sheep, see if they're all alright and there's no jackal. And he was 3 years old. For our family, land and sheep was everything. My grandfather knew for the family to go on, his duty was to look after sheep, because that's the only thing the family had. He used to tell the story that the only luxury he had once a year was going to school, and he had a pound of sugar.
Opa Eli's life left us one enduring lesson. Where there's wool, there's a way. We have the world's best wool, but for decades it's been bought off the farmers for a pittance and sent across the world for the refining that adds the real value. But that value has never reached our people, who nurture those lambs through freezing winters and scorching summers. Gerber & Co. has changed all this, literally bringing it back home.
Because this Gerber & Co. padstal is like a lot of the guests that tell me they didn't expect something like this in the middle of nowhere.
Building and rebuilding, reviving old crafts and teaching new skills.
Ek persoonlijk het die werk gehad, maar op die oomblik werken en ek geniet my werk.
From this place of simple purity, we bring you Pure and Simple, the world's finest wool garments. Artisan woven from hand-reared, hand-sheared Namakwa Merino wool.
For us it was showing the community that our promise doesn't go empty-handed. We renovated this place. We started a farm still at all risk, and the community just grabbed the opportunity. And we're now in the next phase where we can educate people how to knit, to take their fortune in their own hands, but showing commitment and saying, listen, we'll give you the knitting equipment, you just bring us the yarn and we'll buy it back from you if the quality is right.
Because the Co in Gerber & Co. stands not for company, but for community. And our real difference is how we define that community. For us, it's our entire ecosystem, from the land itself to the weather that shapes it, from the plants that enrich and enhance it to the animals in which we place so much faith. From the people who we trust to nurture this world to the people we seek to share our story with, our suppliers, our distributors, and ultimately, you, our customer. For us, this whole, this community, has to be one unbroken circle of trust and mutual benefit.
Grazing in the same paddock, Joseph sheep, my grandfather's sheep. For 42 years, they showed the world how to farm in partnership and in trust. Because if it wasn't for you, I surely think my grandfather would have sold the farms.
So when you purchase a Gerber & Co. garment, rest assured that you have contributed to something from which we, all of us, derive value.
Vandag dra ek te hum. Rera.
Thank you.